What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 19 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Hellbeard Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we have nearly completed our sort of secondary goal, the first goal of being the Spinosotic dwarf thing, but the secondary goal of taking all of Lustria, and considering the interest in this campaign, well, has been low for a while, I think that will probably be where we will end the campaign. If these guys don't prematurely declare war on us, we might have used them as a final battle, because we'll have to fight 3 stacks at once, essentially, which should be pretty nice for you know, mixture of a bunch of different Dwarfen and Chaos Dwarfen units. Of course, we'll still have to get there. Plus, we do still have other fights to fight, like these Tomb Kings, and I do believe as soon as we will end the turn, these guys will sally out with all those lovely constructs. Now, let's see how well they do against these Death Shriekers this time around by ending turn right now, because I'm pretty sure there isn't anything else to do. So let's end the turn. And we ended last episode with the idea that we would end the turn and we would get attacked. Ooh, should I have... I forgot whether I could have switched the stance of that army, but I suppose it also doesn't matter over much. And I'm 99.9% sure that they'll attack. Oh, now you want peace after you sailed on over here and irritated us slightly. Alright, now where are the deserters or deserters of Katep here? There they go. Valiant defeat it is. They've got actually not a lot of infantry, but probably enough to activate their Realm of Souls. Lots and lots of Ushabti with Great Bow. No Bone Giant though, so we won't be immediately focusing that down. Maybe we could take out the Screaming Skull Catapult and immediately switch to the Ushabti before they do too much damage to us? I guess we're about to find out. Go. There we go. I just wanted to listen to the artillery fire their first shots. Anyway, here we go. This should be a pretty darn tough fight, in big part because the enemy has, what, 5, I think, Ushabti with Great Bow, and it isn't really easy to deal with them with Death Shriekers. They're not, because they have that tendency to fire upon a single unit of Ushabti Great Bow, and there are 12 in a single unit, knocking out all 5, or 12 models in a single unit, knocking out all 5 of the units is going to be something of a, something of a big issue. Plus, the terrain, once again, really does not favor us. This particular army not super fond of the jungles, which we are trying to burn down to feed our furnaces, but well, still clearly on the way to completing it. Oh, well. Fortunately, the Demolisher rockets do double as, demolishers of those lizard temples, so eventually it'll all be nice and Chaos Dwarfed up. And there we go, fire away. And yeah, as I was saying, the terrain, I was unsure where exactly I wanted to deploy. Frankly, this might have been a better position, but it's too close to the edge of the map, and I don't like that, so we had to deploy here. It does mean that this big old pile of trees completely protects the enemy's approach over on the left flank, and this big old pile of trees protects the enemy's approach on the right flank. So, unfortunately, yeah, just going to have to deal with it as best we can with half of our army unable to fire at the enemy fast movers. Now, we do move up some of our fire glaives, take a few pot shots at the enemy Ushabti with great bows with our, fire glaives to try to help out the artillery. Especially since the artillery was busy knocking out the enemy's own artillery, which did a fairly decent bit of damage to the Granite Guard, which are down to half HP and are dropping further as they take hits from Ushabti. Well, yes, Ushabti with Great Bow, as well as the enemy Hydro Titan on the approach. The enemy Lord has arrived. It is a Tomb King here, and he is down to about 20% of his HP, which is decent for us, but plenty more units are on the way. We're going to have to back off one of our units of Fire Glaives, while the other tries to hold back the Khemrian War Sphinx, as well as those Necropolis Knights. And this is the great thing about Fire Glaives, them being capable of fighting in melee. They got a solid 10 bonus versus large. and can decently fight against the enemy, especially with the help of a little bit of an ash storm to slow the enemy down and make sure that they are more susceptible to fire damage. I'm going to try to focus down that Tomb Scorpion with one of our units of blunderbusses, and we will knock it out before it starts disrupting our battle lines. Our fire glaives, by the looks of it, are getting hit with a Spirit Leech, and the enemy is wised up to the fact that they're not going to easily break through them, despite the fact that they are ranged units. Ooh, gotta be careful with the magma cannons firing into the backs of our own units, though. We may be fire resistant, but we're not so fire resistant that we won't be able to dish out damage to each other. More fast movers are arriving, and we'll once again have to make sure that our fire glaives work well in melee. But frankly, ever since this army's inception, it has been forced into a lot of melee fighting. A lot of the against the Tomb Kings, despite being a ranged army, which is actually pretty neat. Alrighty, ooh, and our Demon Smith Sorcerer is now pretty heavily damaged as the Ushabti with Great Bow have been focusing him down, but fortunately we've pretty much destroyed 2 of them, and we did manage to tie up, I actually believe, 2 with the Kadai Fireborn, who have managed to rack up 113 kills and 17,000 damage. Obviously, Ushabti with Great Bow are not great melee fighters, and the unit of whatever kind of skeletons came in to try to help them out were obviously annihilated, and by the Kadai, especially with that fire weakness that the non-construct units have. Alright, well, we gotta keep knocking out those constructs, and as our battle lines start to get overwhelmed, the enemy also summons that unit of Ushabti, once again in the middle of our artillery battery. We're gonna have to use our damaged, mind you, Demonsmith Sorcerer of Hushut to tie them up a little bit and allow our artillery to escape. And it looks like this time that unit of the Necropolis Knights will try to loop around the Infernal Steel Legion here in order to, smash into the rear ranks of our artillery. But what can you do? On the bright side, where the enemy had to approach down this little firing lane, the place clear of jungles blocking off our range fire, and that portion of the enemy army has collapsed and has now allowed us to reposition our blunderbusses to fire both into the right flank and into the remnants of the enemy Ushabti with Great Bow. Our Lord has unfortunately suffered severe damage trying to keep the Hyro Titan locked down. Admittedly, he also probably took a little bit of damage of friendly fire as we tried to fire upon the Hyro Titan. While the Fire Glaives have been forced to flee and are replaced now by some blunderbusses to block off that Cameron War Sphinx. On the bright side, though, our damage is so significant that it won't matter. Even those heavy constructs will eventually go down. There we go. The War Sphinx drops another 25% of his HP. Ooh, a nice attempt to assassinate our Lord from that Hyro Titan, even as the enemy army begins to melt away. Fortunately, it looks like Scaff here attempted to flee through the jungles, and just as the enemy was able to use the jungle to their advantage on the approach, so was he able to force some of the trees to block off a few of those magic missile. Still, a very nice move from the AI. The War Sphinx goes down just as it nears our artillery pieces. The Hyro Titan falls, and only the last of the units of summoned Ushabti remain. And though everybody's hurt, the Fire Glaives move back into melee, as do our lords and heroes. And even the War Drum. Why the War Drum? Because it applies disorientation on its contact effect, and that's a -5, I want to say, melee attack? Or is it defense? It's something. It's got some debuffs that are obviously helpful in defending the battery. There we go. With that, the battle is ours, and the battle may be Pyrrhic, but it was well won, and I would have it no other way, being the last battle against the deserters of Katep. Like that Hyro Titan stuff. Alright, there we go. An unsurprisingly nice fight with all of those constructs, but it was really the terrain that almost did us in, with the terrible jungles all over the place. One last screw you from Illustria for, burning most of it down, in terms of, interfering with our ability to fire at the enemy. Still, gave us a pretty great battle out of it. Our Demonsmith Sorcerer kept getting focused down by the Ushabti with Great Bow, which, on the one hand, hand, bad, because, you know, he's severely damaged. On the other hand, it did prevent the other units from taking the hits, so maybe not as bad. I don't know. Either way, we are good. We got solid work out of, it looks like one of the magma cannons outdid the Death Shriekers this time, at the very least in terms of damage, if not damage dealt as gold value. The Sky Lanterns always did well, 28k on one of the Infernal Guard, and 13k on these guys, who got severely damaged by holding back like good quarter to a third of the entire enemy army. 27k damage on the Granite Guard, very solid. 38k on the Street Sweepers, may as well be Jungle Sweepers, because damn, very good work. Anyway, we will... there's not enough time for it. I was wondering whether we should... I could occupy his tower. We could eat up some of our Conclave influence to immediately pop it up to tier 3, thereby saving some of this stuff. Maybe it's worth it this time around. Let's do it. Let's occupy it as a tower. But obviously as a higher tier tower like so. Lovely. And with that, that particular faction should be destroyed now, yes? Alright, what is this? Add a unit of man-eaters, sure. Alrighty, Sword of Cain claimed a new regional power ally mission successful, province secured, Bone Island, and the Deserters of Katep destroyed. We will go for Astral Architects for you, and hey, we'll keep the ore level because we'll immediately be able to get a Castellan out of it. Maximum cargo capacity up and running, Winds of Pain, good. Where were we getting the Castellans? Here, there was another unethical one. Also, wait, can we generate... Okay, we had 3 places that had these. Oh, yeah, there's one here. Honestly, I'm not sure that's much closer. Alright, we'll get you on field, though. Unethical. Somewhere around here, and then we'll see what else to do with you later. Overseer Irate and Bilius we don't care about, though we do still want to move you guys around. You can grab that Mysterious Island real quick and go for, I don't know, those who escaped, doesn't really matter. And then return down this way. Don't bother with the Dawnstone. We also got new techs available. This doesn't really do too much for us, and frankly, neither does this. The reason we were going up this way was to grab unilateral agreements to get that extra income from trade. Although I'm almost inclined to say maybe we would go for Industrial Revolution first. We haven't really been upgrading the factories as much, but we can sort of prepare for when we upgrade the factories. And then there's also the tower upgrades, which is also pretty important. And these will all save us raw materials. Yeah, you know what, I'll go for Harbor Guilds for now, and if I change my mind, then, well, I will change my mind at that point. You, Izdabar the Bullheaded, what do we have here? Fell Cargo. Most likely means a battle, which most likely means we'll have to send the other Izdabar Grimtide sent around this way. I would actually like you to heal, though, buddy. I wonder, will you heal more in our own settlement? Just out of curiosity, why do you suffer attrition here? Oh, swampland attrition, alright, fair enough. Your movement range is all gone? Why? Oh, whatever. You go here into Poxmarsh for a bit. Like so. And yeah, you'll heal more here. Alright, so you sit there, buddy. And I guess we will want to transfer this Torque to you. Confrontational and confrontational, yes? Yes. Alrighty, now. Alright, you know what, let's just do... into March stance. Go out here. I'd like you to heal and not suffer attrition, and then we'll swap the Torque in for one of the Gob Laborers. None of this otherwise needs to be swapped. Frankly, a lot of this stuff needs to be swapped to a different army, but, you know, it's gonna be a bit. Well, we could pop in the Nangao Grenadiers and the Crane Gunners. Crane Gunners to provide long-range support for the mobile Bull Centaur renders. Well, this is kind of what the artillery is for, but then we need something to guard the artillery, if we keep artillery in this army, which was going to be a little bit more, you know, Bull Centaur plus Skullcracker-centric. Anyway, Izdubar, you're going this way. Like so, to follow the other Izdubar, the Izdubars can travel together. And then we got the average efficiency thing. We have to transfer, let's see, we need 300, 300, and... oh, actually, most likely, we'll need to public orderize both of these places so that they don't lose their workers. This place is already getting the public order bonus. So that'll be 500 and 500, meaning we need to transfer 1,000. All right, fair enough. First of all, the Piranha Swamps, as always, you will want to do your sell-off because you generate the most money. Wait, yeah, it was Piranha Swamps. And then we'll need to generate 1,000 out of, let's say, you. Huh. Click the wrong button and... you. That's 300. We don't have enough. We don't have all that much to spare, do we? Well, I'm just gonna have to take more out of the turtle isles, I suppose, like so. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. Frankly, wish the screen wasn't so buggy. I'm wondering whether, well, yeah, we should still probably sell off. Hopefully we'll just get more labor. Or not sell off, set an example. Like so, and then what about the other one? Plus 11. This one's actually relatively okay. Maybe we'll hold off on that one for now. Yeah. Alright, hold off. Lovely. Now, how are we doing? Yanbo is going northward. Ukani doesn't matter. You need to travel this way. Let's say here. And you guys need to be very, very careful in the way that you travel there so that you don't get intercepted. Basically, try to stick together. Like so, and near this territory. Hopefully these guys don't attack you. Good. Alright, so you guys are now in position. We have you guys recruiting, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Kigel Barak, you were supposed to travel with Scaf Graush, but they're outright. I forgot when you zoom out near this place, the game kind of freaks out. Okay, no diplomatic contact with you. Your army is waiting for that one unethical guy. And also potentially a Sorcerer of Fire. Oh, do we have any Chaos Sorcerer capacity additionally? Demon Smith Sorcerer, we do not. I was hoping for one of these guys, but oh well. Huh. Disrupted. That's actually quite interesting. Because it'll be disrupted on your missile attacks, which means you can cause enemies, you can silence enemies at range. Granted, with only 110 range at relatively short range. Well, fairly interesting, though. Okay, pay attention to it. Now, Sea Lane. Out of curiosity, so this takes us here. We could land in the Eastern Circuit and see what's going on over here. Although, admittedly, this will probably mean fighting more Tomb Kings, which appear to have wiped out Tzeentch for good here. Interesting. And I see no Chaos Corruption out here. This is all... Oh, I see Khorne is still kicking. Yeah, we could, in theory, go that way. Or we could wait a little bit. It might not be worth it to start in a new theater of war right now. Let's keep you two together. Let's send you to the Copper Landing for now, and then we'll see. So there's no islands here. There's an island here, but it'll draw us closer to the lizards, and I'm not sure that we want that. You know what? There's an island up here. There could be more up here. Let's actually go this way, then. Maybe see if we can't pick up a few. Alright, then you two travel together. Oh, like so. I'm hoping I didn't miss any islands, but it doesn't look like I did. Okay, we're good, we're good. Anybody else? Scaff is good, and Durgheim, who are you again? Oh, this guy, right. Phil Cargo is fine, and I believe that's it. You have to stick around as a recruiter. Wait, actually, you're well, temporarily stick around as a recruiter. I say temporarily because obviously the considered guys would be better as recruiters, but they need to level. How's our military convoy looking? 2 turns and 1 turn. Alright, so we'll keep an eye on those. Tower of Jar. We can, in theory, capture a couple of these. This gives us what? Enchanted item or ancillary, and wins a magic per turn. Great, but I think I'd rather say for more military district. Yeah. The upkeep reduction is just plain more valuable. Next up, we do have a little bit in the way of raw materials. We could upgrade this, but I did want to upgrade to Lashland. In fact, I'm almost inclined to say we should save up to upgrade the tower if we should here to tier 5. Probably going to be worth our time and effort to do it. As in early. The other option would be to upgrade all of the armaments and... Well, actually, upgrade at least the gold refinery, if not necessarily the armaments thing. And I guess, well... If we upgrade the Blackwater sluice gates here, and we should upgrade the armament assembly line. And this is 4.8k, so we should have just enough to upgrade it next turn. Do we want to upgrade the Fire Enclave here at 750? It's not that expensive. Just so I don't have to look at it every turn. And we can't afford you. Okay, and we have to save the rest of our cash just in case. Oh. I was about to say we should sell off more labor, but I think we gotta wait. So skip. And unless I'm mistaken, we end the turn. Guess we could check if there's any missions. Aha, Spinosotek Dwarfs. Kanos Kier. Yeah, sure. We'll do that mission. In theory. And turn. Let's see what else we're looking at here. Alright, I did want to transfer both of these settlements to these guys, in the hopes of once again them building a Slayer Shrine, although I'm thinking it's looking less and less likely. Tretchy, you want military access, I don't know why, and I also don't care. Alright, the anti-aversion thing will make Skaven and Chaos Dwarfs be able to be friends, I suppose. But you know, fair enough. As long as they're very, very far away from us. We've cleared them out of Lustria, mostly. I only say mostly because there are a couple of heroes running around here. Alright, what do we have here? Hey, you got the Earthfather's Crown. I've just got to keep you away from anywhere where we have the... anywhere where we have those plagues going. I don't know, somewhere down here. There you go, buddy. Convoy completed. Kigel Hackhand. Dusk Peaks receives plague. Yeah, well, that was always going to happen. With these guys here and everybody having that Earthfather's Crown. Free tower, or tower. Armor of Destiny. What do we want to take for the tower here? We could either grab this, spawns temporary army of hobgobs when sacking. Not crazy, so we could grab the Wrath of Jar, or we could get unit capacity +1. Definitely every 4 turns, though. Seems relatively unlikely. Let's go for Wrath of Jar. There we go, it's another upkeep reduction. Not much, but better than nothing. Anyway, let's keep moving these guys. Look for those free islands. Like so, like so. You can always go up and help against the lizards as well while you're waiting for your other units. Oh, and wherever that unethical guy rather, is going to revive. Can you grab this? Oh. Huh. I thought this was, whatever. Castle Forge Steel for you, and Sorcel Blades, very nice. We could, kind of far though. Not sure I want to go all the way that far. We would be able to grab this, and then maybe even move up there if we wanted to. Or we could check out what's going on here. There could very well be more. I'll think about it. You have control, and you are mostly here to grab Mysterious Islands. Oh, there's Remnants of Battle here, which is free stuff as well. You know what? Go grab this Remnants of Battle. You don't need to be down here after all. Alrighty, and then this guy, you can sit in this army for now until I figure out where to actually transfer you. Makes more sense to me. You can... I mean, you could probably auto-resolve a couple of those territories as well. I'm a little bit wary of you running into some armies belonging to these guys. They are still alive, even with Khemri attacking them. Although Khemri is overrunning them rather rapidly. They're down to 6 settlements, and by the looks of very few armies now. Sucks to have been them. Anyway, I guess their attack on us was a desperate last hurrah. Connie, Trua, and all of you guys. Okay, so you're moving away from Pawash. What did the auto-resolve say here? Oh, we can actually do this without... interesting. And War Banner. Alright, I was trying to decide whether to put the War Banner on Oglacon's Wolf Boys, and I'm inclined to say yes. Yeah, the Hobgob Standard is good on them, but we can always put it on another one of these guys. There we go. Frankly, we could use another Razor Standard. Beyond you. I just figure most of the time these guys are doing range damage, and thusly, while powering them up in melee is fine, it's, you know... It could be more useful. Anyway, you guys, March stands right beside here, and I assume that you can do the same. Ooh, are you out of range? Hopefully not. Go as close as you can, we'll see. Oh, yeah, you're fine. Alright, do this, then not a result. Wait, medium casualties, and now it's gonna kill our Hobgob Labor. Oh, game. I actually misclicked when I pressed auto-resolve, but it's okay, it's one Gob Labor or whatever, we'll deal with it. We could grab the tower, or we could, well, actually raising it doesn't do much. Yeah, I just gotta get it as a level 1 tower. Decent likelihood we won't bother keeping it. Ooh, free Furnace Blast Gem though, Hellhammer. You know what, you hold on to this for now. As a follower army, this could potentially be useful too. You, however, I want you to get out of the settlement and channel. And just because these guys might potentially attack you here. And then we'll not invest anything in this for now. Alright, then we've got the sell-off at Piranha Swamps that we always have to do every single turn. Where is Piranha Swamps? Okay, do it by control. Should be at the top, or at least close to it, yeah. Sell labor. And we are still looking fairly okay. Anyone need public order desperately? No, it doesn't look like it. We could sell off a few more, but I think right now we need the labor more than the sell-off, so we'll just hold off. Abnagg, you... Ooh, okay, so we got the lead belchers. I would like you to... No, you know, just transfer all these for now. Go to the Spanisotag Dwarfs, and oh right, we can only recruit a couple of things at a time. Well, as soon as you're ready, start building some iron drakes. I mean, technically some stuff here is fire as well, but it doesn't quite work with the aesthetic that I'm going for in this particular army. Now, the lead belchers are also nice, but they won't be in this army. 32 speed. I was wondering whether actually we could use lead belchers as support for this army instead. For the centaurs and the skullcrackers. Might actually transfer them up here if we, if we get to that point. Slash bother. So Abnagg, stay here. Izdubar, you are supposed to be with Izdubar, so just you're permanently attached to him. Yes, you're needful. And I believe that's it. Alright, skip. And, oh, convoy dispatch, yes. Military convoys, what do we have here? You're returning to capital, you are both covert, you are probably going to be... I had expected you to level up. Well, you have leveled up, but the other guy hasn't. I'm going to say go for better scales. It doesn't matter. Alrighty, and then you, Admaster, and then you can go... Well, you can't go to Greasy. This takes 4 turns. And it's money for labor. It seems that it's better to trade armaments for labor, however. Also trade armaments for money, but... Oh. 5 turns, yeah, go this way. And attempt not to die. Overall threat high, eh? Well, if you die, you die. Let's bump up those armaments just by a teensy bit and get that additional labor. Alright. Looking good to me. And I suppose... Oh, right, I almost forgot. Oh, the most critical thing here was to upgrade the Tower of Hashut here. Partly to build the Temple of Hashut, and partly to build the other military structure that we're missing at Talashland. It will mean not being able to build the Great Furnace, unfortunately, though. But I feel like since this is our main military province... Oh, and frankly, we should probably build the Hobgob Bivouac somewhere here. Might replace one of these places, like the... Well, maybe not the medicinal plants, but something. And, oh. Right, you have the armaments output increase. Yeah, we probably should build the Grand Furnace here for the raw material consumption reduction. But the Temple of Hashut, the precious Temple of Hashut. And then we would have to ignore you, but that's, yeah, that was kind of expected. I suppose in theory we could remove the rail network eventually once the place is stabilized in terms of control, and then it won't matter. But I guess it's not a decision that has to be made right now anyway, so skip, or end the turn rather. And let's see if anybody attacks. Well, we pick up a few more islands and just keep recruiting those Spanisotag dwarfs. So Tharian the Grim wants a trade agreement. Oh, right, the anti-aversion will make the elves weirdly friendly. Oh, it just feels wrong. I'm gonna say no just because it feels wrong. The main anti-aversion thing we wanted was for the, dwarf thing, not the filthy elves. It sickens me. Alright, Puppets of Misrule. Oh, did we ever find Tzeentch? Or was he Tzeentch Kairos, or did he get wiped out? I just don't want him transferring any towers or anything like that. Yeah, looks like we're okay. Alrighty, what is this? Fight battle or destroy an infernal guard? This, actually, this looks like a nice fight. Huh. I like it. Destroy them all. I think we'd have to work for the victory here. I like it. Go.
Zugidash! Chaos, Fleece, und Ankorn!
Alrighty, here we go. This is one of our weaker, smaller convoys, and thusly it's got a nice little fight ahead of it, I'd wager. We do have 2 units of Infernal Guard to hold the main line, plus a unit of Infernal Glaives, well, 2 units technically, Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives to fire through them, and just to try to knock the enemy aerial units out of the fight. We got the Charybdis to offer a lot of anti-large with a plus 50 bonus versus large for when the flyers land, and of course our giant to help hold the main line, plus a little bit of a couple of hobgob archers to help out as well. We'll see how well that goes. We do have a nice little, rent in the earth over on the left flank, so we'll use that to protect our left flank here and force the enemy to funnel themselves onto this side. There we go. Looks like the enemy will try to loop around us. We've left plenty of space for them to do so. And the Fire Glaives are going to do their best to pew-pew apart first those Black Knights, and then later the enemy flyers, probably the Terror Geist to be specific. Alrighty. Shield Breaker on those Black Knights is working for us. Minus 10% fire weakness, it's something. But the big boy is going to be a bigger target and a more important target. The Terrorgeist takes about, let's say, 30, 40, 50% of his HP from the 2 volleys, and in the meantime we move one of our Hobgobs to fire upon the Black Knights instead. Frankly, they'd probably be best served, or better served, firing upon the rather fragile Vargeists, but we'll just fire at whatever we can reach right now. Alright, and it looks like the Terrorgeist is going to drop before it can achieve anything, but the Terrorgeists will land, and perhaps surprisingly land upon our Hobgob archers. Or perhaps not so surprisingly. Obviously the Black Knights, well actually every single large unit here would be a lot... Yeah, they were not going to be able to defeat the Fire Glaives in melee. So mincing a pile of Hobgobs is probably their better option. But admittedly, this also allows the second unit of Fire Glaives to simply fire into those Vargeist, and that's just not going to go well for the AI. Alright, the Black Knights are almost defeated by the Fire Glaives in melee. The Vargeists have been pinned and have almost been knocked out as well. And there we go. How's the front line doing? Ooh, looks like the second unit of Vargeists have landed, but that's why we kept our unit, or our Charybdis back, and it is absolutely annihilating them with a little bit of help from the arrows this time around. We also blocked off 2 of the enemy units by summoning those Kadai Fireborn, which will probably mince a fair few of them. We're up to 107 and 20,000 damage dealt now. You gotta love that Kadai Fireborn summoning ability. And they may be fragile and susceptible to range fire, but against the undead, fire vulnerable as they are, and with all these piles of infantry, they absolutely clean house. In the meantime, the Giant has closed the distance with the enemy Lord now, and is helping to anchor the line, though against the Crypt Ghouls and the Black Knights and whatever else, the units of Infernal Guard are holding pretty darn well. And even the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, regular Chaos Dwarf Warriors, have joined the fray. The Fire Glaives have been firing through the sort of hole in our line left for them, and the other unit of Fire Glaives, now that the right flank is completely protected, have taken position on the slightly elevated little bit of ground here, this little hill, and are now firing into the enemy's backs as we completely destroy what remains of this undead host. Nothing to say as the battle is ours now, just running out the clock until the last of the undead melt away. The Graveguard may feel no fear, but the Crypt Ghouls probably can't say the same. There we go, decisive victory and a nice little fight for the convoy. Alrighty, there we go. Still getting great mileage out of these convoy battles, if I do say so myself. Ransom those captives for the money. Great work for everybody. Sword Cane claimed by Iolair. Another confederation. Oh, wow, World Walkers. I wonder if they will ever be able to, or if they'll get to the point there where they match Khemri. Strength rank 4 and 29 settlements. Very nice. Technology research and the port thing. Convoy completed. Let's go for hotter furnaces and get ready for that industrial revolution. Tower of Jar, we are short of this, but we can steal conscriptors, so we will do this instead. Like so. Beautiful. It's another upkeep reduction, and while we're here, we will immediately want to sell off at Piranha Swamps. And we got lower efficiency here, so we'll swap you. Like so. There we go. Efficiency otherwise looks decent. For now, anyway. Alright, next up, we will want to... There are, I think, 2 or 3 places with brand new... Not you. Not you. I'm not looking for factories right now. I am looking for... Not you, Sacred Pools. Could upgrade you for money. You'll pay for yourself in less than 10 turns. Yeah, looking for these mine shafts. Oh, also, let's build the animal store. We could do a little bit of labor sell-off, but the main thing is to... Ooh, you are now able to upgrade that high-quality assembly line. Let's do that. Armaments 250 per turn at the cost of raw materials, mind you, but it's a decent amount of armaments. And here we were building the Demonsmith Sorcerer capacity, which means I think we will upgrade you as well. Oh, and we should upgrade this factory, this particular factory, because it'll enable us to build the charcoal forge. So yeah, but anyway, not you, Amazonia. Headhunters Jungle, yes. Mineshaft, good. And we will want to upgrade you. That's one. I'm 99% sure there should be another one. Okay, there's no, not you though. You. All right, so we'll go for Mineshaft, and then we will not be able to upgrade you until we sell some stuff off. All right, so. Where should we sell off from? Alright, so you have a little bit too much, so let's sell labor from Zarmuda. And we can also sell labor from, I think, Jungles of Green Mist. Like so. That should be enough to upgrade the Overseer's Tower at Schlatzek. And, oh, we'll need to do 2 more sell-offs, though. Alright, also, missions, no. Maybe we could just get money by... Huh, where you got stuff for... Oh, right, no, you're fine. Alright, so you pick up this island real quick. Sail to wreck. I'll resolve this. And take the labor. Take the money. They're about even here. Sorcerer's Islands. Oh, belong to Khemri. Well done. There we go. 5,000 treasure. That's what I wanted. We are sort of piratical after all, so it kind of makes sense to... Oh, damn, you're dead. Well, too late. Alright, let's see if we can't allow you to survive somehow. Hobgob Stinky gets, I guess we upgrade you. Get you +3, wait. Yeah, +3 melee defense. You are the bigger part of this army. A Black Shard Bulwark probably won't help us enough, so yeah, let's go Fervent Fodder, I guess. Although... The other option would be to get Chaos Dwarf Infantry Armor +10 versus +8 and +3. Admittedly, I'm not entirely sure what I was going to do with this army. Yeah, I'll just go for Black Shard Bulwark for now. Alright, well, try to survive, sir. That's the risk you run when you go full speed stance. You never go full speed stance. And look for islands on the way. There's another island here, but it is a little bit far. I'd like you guys to go this way. And stay together. Is that an island? What do we have out there? Aha, it is an island and a shipwreck. Okay, so you guys stay here. At least with the, you know, sort of army of garbage nearby, they will not be able to steal it. Even if it's a rogue fleet that's nearby. Anyway, you, go into ambush stance right here. Aha, trapped upstart is there. I would like you... go here into march stance, and you go here into march stance. Both of you can act as bait. Though I suppose if Kanos Kier moves first, it won't work, but we shall see. Rugne, Tyrant. Oh, this increases your... You know what? Let's get Hillforge Ordnance. And just because it increases the range of these things, and they need all the help they can get, let's face it. Alrighty, good enough for me. Anybody else need to move? Connie, that's you. You're in position. Kigal Barak, you two. We're looking after this island, so Scaff, go pick this up. And Power of Rage. Ah, free Asp Bow. That's nice. Funnily enough, it's going to go into this army. On one of the Infernal Castellans. Because we already have enough Shield Breaker on the Infernal Guard. On Fireglaive, specifically. Also, we did construct the Obsidian Quarry here. Yes, yes, indeed we did. Alrighty, can't spend any money. We have a little bit of raw materials, but we may want to just save it for another tower upgrade or two. Pawash, oh. I am going to leave you alone for now. Flashland, we should probably try to max you out as much as possible since this place is going to be recruiting stuff soon. Again, therefore we'll need to be as complete as we can be with all the buildings. Frankly, if we get a little bit more in the way of rushability, we should probably rush a construction. So let's save the rest of our cash for that. With the knowledge that it's coming. You are going to recruit from, since you need to go southward, probably Zahutek. So sit in Zahutek for now. Who assisted Vargarl? Oh, right, go here. Pick this up, go for Fel Cargo, whatever. Hey, free banner of Eternal Flame. No money. The lack of money is disappointing. Is this a mysterious island? It is. But it would put us in range of potentially a port of these guys sailing out. We could risk it because you're a dust and I don't really care about you. Yeah, risk it, why not? Try to pick up that island. The 8k that it represents is worth more than your life, so good luck, sir. Speaking of life... Nope, okay. Was trying to look if we got another considered guy, but alas, no dies. Umgakaz Asgax, you're the last one. You have recruited the flame cannons. Which I guess we can just transfer it here. Yes. What? You have a maximum... Oh, right. Take out the lead belchers. There we go. Keep building those. And I would probably want you to grab a couple more of those iron drakes as well. It's going to be a while. 3? Oh, it's 3 under assumption that, well, we will probably keep the war drum. Let's do 3 for now, we'll see. We shall see. And these guys still don't have any, just, okay, to triple check. No flyers. I want those brimstone guns, yeah, but they have no flyers and, alas, no slayers. Well, what can you do? We're not taking their money, so they're free to develop. They started with a tier 5, so they should be making decent chunk of change, potentially. Anyway, skip. Convoy dispatch, forgot. Alrighty, create new convoy. That's you. Covert, you are going to the Great Hall of Greasus once again. There you go. Lovely. Get more labor. Convoys keep bringing in labor. We can keep occasionally doing the sell-offs and the rushing of construction and all of that. Now, let's see if Trapped Upstart moves first, or whether Kano's Kier moves first, or one of the heroes move first, thereby foiling our ambush. And, well, the ambush failed. They decided to still attack, and I gotta say that works for me. We're fighting. Alrighty, here we go. I may love the sort of maps where we are fighting in the Chaos Dwarfen territories, but the jungle maps are also pretty darn nice. Admittedly, I judge a lot of the maps and how much I like them just by visibility, as other than with a few factions that are glowy enough to warrant it, dark maps don't really do it for me, because, you know, I'm trying to actually see what's happening and watch the action. But anyway, I digress. Got a big old pile of lizards arrayed against us here. Most importantly, a ton of them are cavalry and cavalry adjacent. We got Blessed Horned Ones, Cold One Riders, Blessed Cold Ones, Spear Riders, Feral Cold Ones, about 8 between both flanks. And we got more Feral Cold Ones, about 10 as we got 2 more Feral Cold Ones moving in. So that's a full half stack of fast movers. We've only got a quarter stack of fast movers ourselves, and ours would obviously not be able to handle fighting, well, really any of them. Maybe they could handle the Feral Cold Ones, although Feral Cold Ones are absolutely not to be underestimated. I use them, I'm pretty fond of them whenever I play Lizardman myself. Especially with the armor piercing that they're capable of. But anyway, the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders may be buffed up significantly in Gordas' army, but not so significantly that they can fight Horned Ones or Cold One Spear Riders or Blessed Cold One Spear Riders or what have you in Malai. So we're just going to have to do our best to pincushion them and move them towards our main line, where of course most of our gobs wait in stock, and we have all of those sneaky gets with that lovely precursor weapon that we've been relying upon. And now that Cathay has precursor weapons in the form of the Tigerman Stalkers, I will probably be putting those to use in many a Cathayan army in the future. But anyway, here we go. Looks like the... Oh, that was a dangerous move from that one little gob, as he moves just to the sort of tip of the Blessed Horned Ones. And it looks like they are not going to catch us. There we go. The precursor weapons fly. And man, these guys have eaten so many arrows and precursor weapons, and they're still kicking. 50% of their HP. But that's Blessed Horned One Spear Riders for you. 25% physical and 10% missile resistance. Pretty darn good. Oh, they got Strider on them. Would be great for them, but they're unfortunately too slow due to the flammable being applied by Oglakan's Wolf Boys. Alrighty, and unlike the Cold One or the Horned Ones, the regular Cold One Spear Riders are much more susceptible to range fire, and will eat a few arrows and then will break rather quickly, by comparison at least. But I mean, these guys are tier 5 units, Blessed Horned Ones, and they're pretty insane, so that should hardly be of any surprise. Alrighty, and it looks like they do smash into our Hobgoblin Cutthroats, but these are the summoned Hobgob Cutthroats that Gordas has access to, so they can feel free to eat as many of them as they like. And it looks like the enemy has arrived over on the left flank with its other 4 units of cab. We are going to try our best to go after the Salamander Hunting Pack first, however, as they're obviously pretty critical. In the meantime, the enemy uses its Terminator Deep Strike ability, as Mazdamundi/Heshwatla has access to Deep Strike for its Temple Guard, summoning a unit of Temple Guard right on top of our artillery. Fortunately, our lords and heroes are quick on the uptake, as they can reposition themselves. They may be more fragile than regular Chaos Dwarf Lords, but they are so much faster thanks to their mounts. And the precursor weapons from the Sneaky Stabbas and the other Hobgob Sneaky Gets, so we'll make quick work of those deep striking Temple Guard. In the meantime, it looks like the other fast movers are heading down that hill and hoping to reach our own fast movers. And there's only so much space we still have left to back away. Plus, the main battle is just about ready to be joined. Gordas has actually lost about half of his HP, getting attacked by a Saurus Scarvet and a Saurus Oldblood. Our artillery, in combination with our range units, will knock out the enemy Fire Leech Bolas. Or these right, yeah, the Fire Leech Bolas. Which would be so darn threatening to our main line. And ooh, nice volley from the other Salamander unit, which takes about 25% of the HP off one of the units of Sneaky Gets. Which ain't so great, what can you do? A very nice fight so far. Gordas has been forced to back off, and RuinusInsight is going to replace him. 71-64, solid stats, but we'll see if once the debuff is gone from Enfeebling Foe, he can actually fight the enemy lord. Plus, the enemy Scarvet is still moving forward. Unfortunately for him, we do have more gobs where that came from, but they are definitely starting to take damage. And those Blessed Horned One Spear Riders basically fighting to the last, 2% HP remaining, 2 units remaining, and still using their last little bit of HP to knock out a few more gobs and annoy our artillery. We're trying to knock out that Skink Chief now, or at least these ones are. Alright, and ooh, our own Demonsmith Sorcerer took a bunch of hits. I think it was from the Blessed Skink Skirmishers and something else, some range fire, and got severely beat up for his trouble. In the meantime, we've also been taking a few shots from the Basti with Solar Engine, and have decided to actually use our Kadai Fireborn summon on top of it to stop it from firing. I actually wasn't expecting the Kadai Fireborn to tear it to shreds, but it looks like they're more than capable of doing so, and good for them. Granted, not summoning them, for example, on the right flank, which would have helped tremendously against all those piles of units, and does kind of leave these two little units of Sneaky Gits out to dry. And they're just going to have to do their best to hold against all of the fast movers, which have been such an issue in this particular fight. Certainly a good fight out of Mazdamundi, though. Or, not his own personal army, but his faction. But it can't last forever. The bounce power has shifted to about 80% in our favor now. The Solar Engine is out. The enemy Lord is, I think, fleeing. Or no, the enemy Scarvet maybe is fleeing. Something. Oh, and the second Terminator Deep Strike comes down. Another unit of Temple Guard joins the fray. And hey, we can't be too mad at it. We do summon our own Kadai Fireborn after all, though we do only have the one use of it. Although, as I recall, there is a tech that will eventually allow us to use another use of it. But I think it might not be the most likely that we end up reaching it anyway. And the bounce power shifted, actually still about 80%, may actually have shifted slightly back in the enemy's favor after those Temple Guard got on the battlefield. But with the Saurus Scarvet, no, there he is, still annoying us and trying to prevent those artillery pieces from firing. But frankly, we're too busy dealing with everything else to knock him out, but we can go after the Old Blood, which shatters or breaks with about 20% of his HP remaining. And it looks like with that, the enemy army is done. A few more bolts will move towards knocking out that Basti with Solar Engine. There we go. Since the Fireborn disappeared before they could kill it for good. A very nice fight, though, you gotta admit. I'm glad we came here, and admittedly, this army, being a Gob army, has had some of the best fights in the campaign, which should be unsurprising, considering in theory, they are weaker than a lot of the enemy troops that we've encountered, being an almost all Tier 1 army. And ooh, free potion of healing. Huh, wait, you didn't have a potion item? I could have sworn you did. I'm suspicious, but oh well. Either way, it was a very nice battle, as it pretty much always is with this particular army. The bolt throwers are still kind of meh, but that shouldn't be of any surprise, and they basically fired at every different type of unit in this particular battle. Single entities, flyers, I don't know, monster packs, whatever you call the salamanders, and other such things, cavalry, infantry, whatever. And it doesn't really increase their performance by virtue of their terrible accuracy, so I was kind of tempted to replace one of them with scrap launchers, but they're in this army for flavor, and they're very high rank at this point, and I don't want to get rid of them by virtue of it. And yeah, otherwise, in terms of the Sneaky Gits, 29k for the Enthusiasts, 33k. Oh, looks like one of the unnamed units actually took home the prize this time around. Ooh, actually, by a hair, the damage Delta's gold value is higher on the Enthusiasts, so they stabbed enthusiastically, as they do. As for the Wolf units, it looks like it's Gortys' Wolf Boys, which keep roughly apace with the Oglakan's Wolf Boys. But anyway, I digress. Transport captives labor. And Mazdamundi's on his way. And frankly, I would like the other army too, actually. If you're willing to offer us 8k for military access? I was looking to ally with Cetra anyway. Because they're, I mean, even before the anti-aversion thing, we were, if not quite friendly with them, they were reasonably happy with us, so probably something we should do. We could also do trade agreement. I don't necessarily want to go for a full defensive pack, because I still feel like there's some, you know, suspiciousness there, but 22k, huh? He's just Is he just not upgrading his territories? How does he have so much money? Alright, well, we'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. Honestly, if this campaign were to continue, I would have fought Cetra, because he has a lot of territory in the desert there, A, and B, all of that territory is rather close to us. It's another trade agreement. Yeah, we could trade with Wolfric, whatever. What was I saying? Yeah, if this campaign were to continue, we probably would have attacked here and then taken all of this territory, but that's no longer going to happen particularly. And also, these guys do attack. I was starting to say, and also I don't really care for fighting the Tomb Kings anymore. I've still got Tomb King PTSD from Malagor's campaign, but even in this campaign we've been fighting them a fair bit since, well, at least recently, so yeah, no need to attack, etc. Anyway, Sumai Asgax, we have you in full speed stance, and this little rogue fleet may or may not be able to wipe you out. Let's find out. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see if our overseer's words aren't too cocky, considering we're in march stance, and, well, that ain't so great. This was that emergency little army we built. The enemy also has a lot of veterancy on us, so their troops are going to be fairly significantly stronger. Enemy's got 3 times more levels on their lord as well as compared to ours. Plus the fact that while the enemy has only a 3/4 stack, our army is sufficiently damaged to make it about even in terms of pure troop numbers. So how this is gonna go, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna speed this up while we try to get a little bit of fire upon the enemy, specifically those goblin rock lobbers, but it looks like they're going to be able to outrange both the crane, well, just the crane gunners, so we can't expect them to knock them out. In that light then, we will continue backing the crane gunners and the dwarf blunderbusses off, which the enemy seems to want to target rather than the goblin laborers. Probably a smart move, as the crane gunners are, in theory, the only real threat to them. Ooh, I'm surprised that they were actually managing to hit these guys, considering they were just standing still. But anyway, if the artillery wants to move to target the crane gunners, well, we will obligingly allow them to do so, and instead use our sneaky gits in their stock to charge towards the artillery, which is not being protected by the main enemy line. I was thinking if the artillery stayed back there, we'd charge these guys, which we Vanguard deployed behind the enemy army, but it looks like there's no need, as we were able to draw them in. And there we go, in between the precursor weapons and the stabby stabbers of the little sneaky gits. And the artillery pieces do quickly get overrun. Unfortunately for us, however, the AI does react to that pretty much instantly. And the entire army is now upon our poor little sneaky gits, taking charges first from the enemy wolf raiders, losing about 30% of their HP. And then we got trolls, biggins, and even boar boys coming in to follow up. We're going to try to bail them out by summoning the units of Kadai Fireborn on them. And if you're wondering why I didn't just summon the Kadai Fireborn on top of the artillery, I just decided not to. Sometimes it feels a little bit unfair, even though, once again, the AI always does the same thing. We saw the Terminator Deep Strike from the Temple Guard summoned on top of our artillery, and we always see those Ushabti summoned on top of our artillery as well, so it's not like the AI doesn't do the same thing. But anyway, still sometimes feels a little bit unfair. Either way, we're getting a little bit of mileage out of our grenade-chucking Nangao Grenadiers, because we haven't been using too many of our own naphtha bomb chucking units, as in the Fire Sworn. Well, we have the one unit, but just the one so far. Oh well, technically we have 2 units that chuck naphtha bombs, because the Blazing Beards of Bezrag do as well. But anyway, still nice to see a few of those grenades, and you gotta admit, the Cathians do look pretty good with this sort of brown-black color scheme that we've got here, certainly matching our own stuff. Alright, and obviously the 2 units that sacrificed themselves to destroy those artillery pieces are severely damaged and backing up. Our crane gunners, however, are now free to fire without the enemy having all of those darn units of artillery focusing them, and they should be able to focus down those trolls in reasonably short order. Again, I really like this color scheme. Anyway. I kind of wasn't expecting to, because obviously, you know, it's basically just the brown color scheme, which is pretty simple, but it does work. It works very nicely for the Chaos Dwarfs, and again, matches the Granite Guard, which is basically their sort of just straight up their color scheme. But anyway, it does look like the trolls have been cleared out by the crane gunners now, and Ashok leads the last remnants of his force over on the right flank. Another unit of trolls, a unit of biggins, which is now surrounded and being attacked from every side by the Sneaky Gits. Poor little Sneaky Git loses his head to Ashok, but as with lords, oftentimes it was simply easier to just ignore him while we wiped out the rest of his army. Especially as there are much more critical and killier units like the enemy trolls here. Ashok can only kill so many Sneaky Gits. And there we go. With that, Ashok routs or shatters with full HP as the rest of his army is destroyed, and the battle is ours. Though I always do wonder how realistic it is to have a Orc War boss rout basically completely unharmed, but I suppose if he sees his entire army running, much as he'd like to bash a few heads himself, he'd probably book it on out of there as well. But anyway, I digress. Nice little fight, to be sure, and I'm glad this little army survived, even though we technically don't really need it. Alrighty, there we go. Looks like this little army, little emergency army we threw together to throw back Arkan's little last hurrah army, managed to live another day after being sent out to gather some islands. Ashok the Bloody does survive, but probably not for long. I'm guessing we can take the labor. The auto resolve might actually kill this army off, but I guess we'll see. Campaign movement range, I attain new power, ambush successful, not successful. Alright, and Mazda Mundi is here with a pretty nice stack. Though admittedly, again, this army has gotten so much playtime over the course of the campaign. I might want to say back it off for now, rather than continue. There's that potion of healing, an enchanted shield, a Lamasu for some guy, and a ruby ring of ruin, which is potentially nice. Anyway, Infernal Guard, seduce units budget. Oh, thanks. A little late for that. Oh, it's from Preceptor. Alright, that's fair enough. Fair enough, game, fair enough. Alrighty, anyway, I think with that, in fact, no think about it, we are most definitely out of time, so I'm going to call this particular episode here. Decent likelihood the next episode will be the final episode of the campaign, since we have all of Lustria save these 3 provinces, so we'll need to loop back around to take those and make sure that we finish up nicely with a little bit of combined arms fighting with the spine of Sotag Dwarfs. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. Still not building a Slayer Shrine, are you? No Slayer Shrine anyway. Alright, anyway, thanks for watching.